the Iron Man series, 42 miles outside of Canaan, Oklahoma, we find the unicorn in a thunderstorm as he's come to serve a cosmic being known as Korvac. As the unicorn calls, Korvac answers. But back in New York City, we find Iron Man as he's getting used to the superhero life once again. Iron Man is considered out of touch as he's doing stuff with total disregard for those around him. At one point, Iron Man even stops at a school full of little children. Now the kids are obviously happy to see Iron Man, but the teachers not so much. They tell Iron Man their days are centered around structure. Unannounced visits like this cause a lot of chaos, but they'd love to have him back for a specific activity. Iron Man flies off, heading back to the garage where he left his car. But Iron Man runs into the melter, who just so happens to have melted his car. As the melter asks Iron Man if he's mad, Iron Man punches him in the face and grabs him and flies really high into the sky. Iron Man then drops him while thinking to himself he doesn't have to play by the rules. But Tony is really not that guy, so he blasts down at high speed, and before the melter can hit the ground, he grabs him. As Tony is at the burger shop, he's daydreaming, thinking out loud about how people don't know what he's capable of and how he doesn't have to play by the rules. The burger guy asks him if he's okay, but Tony apologizes. Iron Man then hops on a flight with Patsy Walker, aka Hellcat, as they're going to meet a client that Tony met earlier. Tony is still kind of apprehensive, as if the science is bad, he knows people will blame him. But as Patsy tells him to chill out, he tells her it doesn't really matter to her because she's not as famous as him. Patsy tells Tony, fuck you, she may not be as famous as he is, but she has worked her way back from being dead. Tony apologizes to Patsy as every day is hard for her, even if most people don't see it. But as Tony and Patsy touch down in Oklahoma, Iron Man goes to meet Fuller Tilhard, a man he met that essentially claims he's able to capture lightning in a bottle. Tony observes he has lightning rods set up for thousands of acres. Tony flies off to inspect the setup, but as Iron Man is in the air, he's struck by purple lightning that brings him down. Now, unbeknownst to Tony, Fuller Tilhard is actually a cosmic being known as Korvac that the Avengers have fought long ago. But as Korvac, Blizzard, the Controller, and the Unicorn stand over him, Hellcat provides some much-needed backup as she runs them down in a vehicle, giving Iron Man a chance to regain his footing. As Iron Man blasts the Controller, Hellcat proceeds to beat the shit out of Unicorn and the Blizzard. But as the two of them are seemingly winning, Korvac hits him with a burst of purple lightning, which puts the heroes down. Iron Man's life support systems bring him back, while he holds the badly burnt body of Hellcat in his hands. But as Tony returns to the city, as it turns out, Korvac has kidnapped his protege, James Rhodes. Iron Man goes to Patsy Walker, aka Hellcat, to inform her that Korvac is likely hunting them. She asks if Korvac is smarter than Tony, but Tony tells her he's one of the masters of intellect in the universe. But Patsy tells Tony you didn't answer her question. As Patsy turns, you see the facial burns that are a result of Korvac's mega lightning powers. Tony apologizes to Patsy as he feels as though this is all his fault, and it kinda is. Patsy tells Tony that Korvac was his investment as Tony handed him all the cash he needed for his lightning experiment. Tony's really not trying to hear it, but Patsy tells him that someone needs to hold him accountable. Patsy tells Tony he's really good at subterfuge, and it's a shame because he doesn't even know how good he is at it. And she also likes the guy underneath when you get past all the bullshit. Tony and Patsy kiss as they get ready to go to bed. But elsewhere in the outer boroughs of New York City, as Korvac has James Rhodes captive, the Unicorn comes to tell them that they've located the tattoo. Now James tries to tell them that Galactus does not take kindly to visitors. He also tells Korvac that whatever he's planning, he's not going to help him. But Korvac doesn't listen as he puts his plan in motion, planning to lure out Iron Man and Hellcat. But as Stark and Patsy finish up, Stark thinks to himself that Patsy is right, he does need help, but not from the Avengers or the Fantastic Four or the X-Men. That would be way too obvious. But as Tony and Patsy are talking, Patsy tells Tony she can hear him. At first, it was like a soft whisper, but now it's getting louder and louder. But back at Korvac's lair, he fashions himself an energy conduit to harness all the energy he captured earlier. He hooks himself up to the conduit as he plans to be the catalyst for all of this lightning. As Blizzard flips the switch, Korvac is shocked and infused with immense power. But back in New York City, as Iron Man and Patsy are walking through the street, Patsy starts screaming, as now whatever was in her head has intensified. But as the lights go out, they know they have bigger problems, as Patsy speculates he wants to go to Todd 2, Galactus' ship. But elsewhere in Korvac's lair, as Korvac has been infused with immense power, he says to himself that he is forever. Tony goes to meet up with Halcyon, a mute that just so happens to be the best street racer around. Tony tells Halcyon he needs his help, as he needs help from someone that can skirt the main avenues. But Halcyon tries to tell him that this really isn't his thing. But as Tony and Halcyon are talking, Patsy gets fully possessed as she gets infused with lightning, and a voice tells Tony that he's not going to stop her. Patsy hurls lightning at Tony, just barely missing him. But as Tony is on the ground at the mercy of a possessed Hellcat, Halcyon hits a fire hydrant and uses a stream to incapacitate Hellcat, at least for now. Halcyon explains to Tony that he's also a mutant, as the two of them get ready to put Tony's plan into action. To be continued.